Yeah, this doesn't look like the kind of place I want to be rebuilding a tractor in. Might have to do some tidying up. G'day everybody, welcome back. Today, Fiat 411R. When we left last time, it was a bit messy, there was shit everywhere, and I didn't really know what I had. It's very, very windy today too, so if you have trouble with this, apologies. If I need to remake it, I'll remake it, but we're going to have a go. So, here's what we've done. We've had a bit of a tidy up, as you just saw, so I can at least now move around the space. I've taken everything from over there and over there and over there and over there and put it here under the camera, which I'll walk you through in a minute. So far we've only found one particular piece we're missing. Got onto old mate I got the tractor from. He's going to see if we can find it. If not, Rural Wreckers at Inverell. If they don't have one, they'll know where I can get one. So two things to do today: show you what we've got, show you the plan, and to stabilise this. It's still currently sitting on 2 bits of wood. I want to try and get it level and at least supported, so if these 2 tyres go down again it doesn't kilt over. And secondly, I've got to work out whether I'm going to put the engine back on the tractor and then the front end back on the engine, or if I'm going to put the front end on and then put the engine in. I know, big questions for a Sunday. It's very, very warm today, so I'm under the shade. The John Deere, haven't touched it. It's sitting in the baking sun, and frankly I can't be bothered today getting that hot and that sweaty. So let's have a look. If you're new to the channel, thank you. If you're not new to the channel, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe anyway, and just don't watch. So pretty flexible like that. So let's have a look and see what we got for our money. Alright, we'll start with the big bit. So I've got a tractor, the back end, PTO, 3-point linkage, spring chair, spotlight with wiring. Oh, I knew I missed a couple of bits. I'll move them before we do it. This is the original engine tag. See if I can bring it in and get it focused. It's a bit hard to read, but I'll clean it up and get another photo a bit later. One of the things I've found so far, can't seem to get it to change gears. Handbrake works. Engine goes here. Come down in here and have a look. So that's where the throwout bearing goes. I need to clean that up. PTO clutch, engine clutch. This spins, which means it's in neutral. Happy days. This doesn't spin. Not sure what that means yet. Fuel lines, electrical lines, everything's still in place. Unlike the International, I can get to everything very easily. I can find stuff. Very excited about actually being able to fix something easily. But the plan is to bring the engine crane in, lift this up, support it. This tyre here has already gone down a little bit. It's very, very high, so I'm not sure how I'm going to support it yet, but I'll work it out. Over here you can see reconditioned radiator, mint condition. Wiring for the headlights is still on it. and the fuel tank clean as. There's no rust in it. Very, very happy. Coming around this side again, apologies for the wind. Keep going. Trying the other magic stick today. Bonnet, yeah, it's got a little bit of character, but whole, all the fittings are there, all the bits are there. Come down this way. Sorry. Focus it all down. Here we go. Front end, obviously 2 new tyres required. I can put the front end back on the tractor and then put the engine back in, which would let me get it all level and all that sort of stuff. However, I think it's going to be easier to put the engine back on the tractor and then support it and then put the front end on. But we're not doing that today, so a little bit of thinking time, need to do a little bit of Googles and just sort of work it out. So what did we have on the seat that I forgot about? So we have another battery cable. Here's the throw out bearing, the clutch. I'll add this to the pile over here for in a minute. Electrical there. Another electrical cable somewhere. What I've done with that. And a brand new clutch. And while it looks a bit dodge, it is in fact brand new. So we'll put that here. I'll wander around and see if I can find. Oh, the magic stick's going everywhere now. Oh, look at this. I thought I had another cable, so I have another cable. So walk back around this way. So I have all the electrical cables, which is good. Put them further this way. Alright, so wheel will stick around again. On the other side of the tractor, no real surprises. Wiring, fuse, had to zippy tie the cable up. All the fuel lines are obviously corroded or rotten. I will have a look at the carby when we get closer. Fuel bowl's going to need a little bit of a clean. Again, nothing major. Wasp nest to get rid of. Some other things. I don't know what this lever does. I'll work it out. It's probably the PTO lever. So we'll go through this more as we go. I'm keen to sit on the seat. It's the first tractor I bought that's got a complete steering wheel. So that's all the pieces. Coming back around here to the engine, this is where we find a couple of issues that we're going to have to address. Not big issues, but issues. One, the distributor's not in it, so I'm going to have to line the distributor up, all that sort of stuff. Normal stuff. One of the spark plugs was out, and we don't know what that's going to look like. Got a wasp nest around here we'll have to get rid of. The oil cap's broken, and the rocker cover comes off. As you can see though, under the rocker cover it's as clean as a whistle. The head's been done. And this led us to the first piece that's missing. I think so far, probably the only piece that's missing that I've identified. There's supposed to be a water outlet pipe here, 1, 2, 3. Now I know that it's here because I found the 6 bolts that go with it. It comes up here. This is the bypass for the cooling system, and it goes into the top part of the radiator. It is definitely not with the tractor. We've got some funky bolts, and I think some of the bolts that are used to hold the front end on are actually holding this piece here on, so I need to be, this is where I need to work out what order I do this in. It's going to be easier to put the engine on the tractor. The exhaust, I don't have the exhaust. This can rotate. I want to try and put this exhaust pipe down, but not up, but we'll see how we go. Everything else is here. I will be going through the engine with a fine-tooth comb, but we'll turn the camera around. It's going to be much, much easier to do it hanging off the tractor than down at ground level. I'm going to put some ATF down the cylinders, get it moving. I don't know how long it's been since it turned over. I'm not taking the head off. I might check the head bolt tension. So just go and have a look at all the other little bits we got. So in no particular order, I've got both headlights, complete bolts in them, easy to do, go straight on the front end. I've got a tin to put my rags in, happy days. I've got a couple of old radiator clamps that'll go in the bin, and I've got the hard pipe for the radiator. And no, sorry, that's the hard pipe for the air cleaner. So this has a hard pipe that runs to the air cleaner. One radiator hose. I can buy a new radiator hose kit for 20 bucks on eBay. Happy days. Hydraulic lines for the pump. Have to give them a good clean. New clutch plate. Going to put that in. Fuel tank supports. Very happy. Still got the original canvas on them. Throw out bearing for the clutch. Have to work out the orientation. Pretty sure it goes like that, but this is the front of the tractor and this at the back of the tractor, because there's a spot to put this crease fitting in. That'll be quite easy, I just have to clean the shaft up. Random spring still to be identified. So this is the resistor, and I know it's the resistor because I found a picture in the manual. Hydraulic pump, which was in pieces, and this goes through the bottom of the radiator, and this is again why I'm considering putting the engine on first, because that bolts to the front end and that slides onto the front of the motor through the radiator. Governor, generator, assembly, clutch. I'll go back to the clutch in a minute. Some spare bits. So there was some, they bought a 6-cylinder rebuild kit, I don't know why. So it's got some other stuff. That's going to go in that random bin. New hydraulic filter, very happy, very hard to get. Resistor, no. Coil, distributor, still wired up, happy days. This is going to be the problem child. This is not the greatest cap in the world, and I haven't been able to find one on the internet at all, which is unusual for me because normally I can find most things. The electricals, that's later when I get on the tractor. And then I got to the bolts. So these are the bolts I've got. Pretty confident that these are the bell housing bolts to put the engine on. There might be some slightly different ones. We'll have to have a look when we get it all mated up. Pretty sure this is to bolt the front end on, and then these are the peripheral bolts. So I've got a couple for the generator. There's some small bolts missing for putting the hydraulic pipe on, and there's bolts to mount the dashboard down to the engine, and so on and so on. There's a journey of discovery. There's some fuel line clamps, there's a couple of washers that, and a nut that I don't know where they go, a couple of little washers, and these bolts here. And I know where these bolts go. These 6 hold the water cooling pipe on, and these 4 hold the rocker cover on. So I'm going to have to replace those. But that's all the bits that need to go back on to turn that back into a tractor. Righto. So I've got the back chocked up. It's not sitting down. Maybe a little bit. It's sitting down here. This tyre is deflating. This one is not on this side. So I'm going to let this one down a little bit, and this should sit down nice and snug. Happy days. Up at the front, I've got this sitting here. I'm not overly happy with it, but I'm still trying to work out the best way to do it. So I've got some issues with the engine crane, just in terms of how it's set up. I just need to modify a couple of bolts and various things. But at this point, yeah, see, that's still not happy. So I'm going to redo this. It's probably going to be, I'll make this piece here more stable, and that'll stop that wobble back and forth. But for now, it's where it's got to be. It's reasonably stable. It's not going to fall over. If it does, it'll land on some wood. So for now, that'll do. Next time we come back, I'll put the front end where it's got to go, out to the left, and have a look at which one of these bolt holes it uses, and I think it's this one here. And we'll keep trying to make it look like a tractor. A couple of other bits that I missed. Also got a new rocker cover gasket, again 4 bolts, and I got all of the seals for the water cooling pipe that's missing. Again, good way to work it out. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll come back again another day and have another go when it's a bit cooler. The journey is only just beginning. In this modern world, I think this qualifies as Instagram finished. But everything's now in its place and in its order. So get the clutch back on, get the thrust bearing back in, clean it all up, bolt it all up, work out which bolts go, lift the engine up, wheel the engine in, wheel the front end in, bolt it all up, re-block it, move on. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you've got a Fiat 411R water outlet pipe laying around in your backyard, drop me a message. See you later.